All right, with Busch Stadium 3 in St. Louis in the background here. Of course, this season is the season of COVID and the stands are not filled like this. The purpose of this video is to show you how to view your Turnitin match report on Canvas if your instructor is using that. And if you go to your Canvas assignment, and I am not finding what I need here. Let's do this, and then that. Okay, that should work a little bit better. So if you go to your course shell, and then you go to your gradebook, and then you scroll down to the assignment that you're looking at. In this case, I'm looking at the one that says Scientific Summary Report 1, so I'll put it kind of near the top right here. And over here on the right-hand side, where this green little button is, this is the Turnitin report right here. Sometimes it says that these will take 24 hours to display. In my experience, they usually only take just a few minutes before they display, unless you have a particularly long report, but even then it does not usually take that long. And if you click on that button, it's going to open a new screen. And you have to agree to the end user license agreement before you can continue. And I'm not going to take the quick tour. So this, let me make sure you can see it here. This is what you will see in your Turnitin report. And let me give you an idea of what to look for here. The number 1 here indicates that it matches with a specific paper somewhere or website. Here's another one. And this one actually matches because this is the title of a grant and I submitted it and it's located within the database. And so we see that, you know, there are some matching, there's matching there. But I know that, and so I'm not going to worry about it because it's actually from this own paper. But students sometimes see things like, oh, why is this matching? Well, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in a row. And then here's a 6th and a 7th and an 8th that appear in the same pattern somewhere. Matching like this is something you commonly see in science and in vitro model for. That's not a match. That's just language that is used somewhere else. And sometimes in science, there's language like that that's going to be used. You can see that it doesn't really match anywhere else in the sentence, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. The second match here, where it says electrically stimulated myotubes on proliferation and differentiation of, again, this is just incidental matching that occurs in the context of science. You can see that nothing else matches. So if I saw this, I would look right over it. I would ignore it. I wouldn't, you know, account or hold students responsible for that. Here's some other incidental matching. I'm sorry, I don't have any examples of matching that shouldn't be there because this is a grant that I wrote, and so you won't see that in there. But let me show you some things that still might appear. You know, here's the name of 2 cytokines that appear back to back. Well, of course, they appear back to back in the literature as well. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor B, D, and F in parentheses. Well, that's the way it's going to be reported in the literature in many places. So again, it's going to show a match here. And so we don't really need to worry about any of those or the number 14 down here. Number 6, I wanted to show you because this is a list, right? Colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, cardiovascular disease, and also somebody else has used that same list somewhere. it's not real matching. And so we aren't going to worry so much about this kind of matching. What you need to worry about is if you see extensive coloring within a paragraph, if that coloring is all from the same source, or if that coloring covers it like an entire sentence or half a sentence. Then you need to start looking more carefully and saying, did I really write that in my own words, or did I just not paraphrase it well? And you need to figure that out. In my experience, I go back and that's all I'm looking for is the I don't look for matching like what we see in this paper. I'm looking for matching that looks like students just did not word it well enough in their own words, that they need to do a better job at that. If you click on this little icon over to the right, this one right here, then you get this report. And this actually shows where the sources of the matches. So you can see it's 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Something like this shows really no matching. It's incidental matching with multiple sources. But if you see 13% with a particular source, that's where you need to be concerned. And so you can also use this feature to try and look at some of those things. So I hope that's helpful, at least in learning how to use the Turnitin feature just a little bit to see how the matching is in your particular paper.